Good morning, everybody. It's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 Majors Analyst Update for the 29th of June 2012. Hi guys, it's a Friday morning, end of week. Let's have a look and see what's been happening. And boy, things have been happening overnight. As of 3 a.m. GMT this morning, we had a massive move in the market. EU summit meeting between Euro leaders trying to thrash out some more deals on Spain, etc., etc. Use out. According to sources, Euro leaders agreed to open bailout funds to countries without attaching any austerity measures to them. So that's taken as a very, very good source of info, and we've had a lot of movement to the upside. Obviously, there's a little more to that, so I suggest you go and read into it. But what you've seen now is we've seen a number of days of indecision going into these meetings. And when you see a lot of spinning tops, these are called genuine spinning tops, very small trading ranges, a lot of wicks, very indecisive. You want to see a decision candle, and it seems as if we're getting a decision candle now. But this could be a knee-jerk reaction, so I'll let this play it out on the daily, end of week anyway. So anybody who's been shorting for the past couple of days would be taking profit as well. So we could see a lot of positions being closed to the downside, also adding fuel to this upside movement. But as it stands now, you can see a massive move on our Asian session at 3 o'clock GMT this morning, roughly. And on our weekly, end of week, let's have a look and see that candle. So you can see 3 weeks now of indecision. Look at these candles. A lot of buying sentiment on this particular one, and a lot of selling sentiment on that one, and now yet again another buying one. So a lot of indecision at this level here, 1265, which happens to be a major support and resistance level. On our weekly, you can quite clearly see that. I just want to make that aware to you guys. Ideally, if we're going to see any further movement to the upside, we do need to see a break and close above that psychological level. Very, very important, because you can quite clearly see as I move out, you can see I've got a lot of data. You can see 2006, a lot of hesitation through there. Back in 2008, 2009, early, a lot of hesitation. A break below that 2010. However, once we got back up back up above it, apologies, that coffee hasn't kicked in yet. We had August, September of 2010 support, and then a retest of it recently, January 2012, and we had a breakout through May, June, early June, and now you're seeing price trading at the underside of this 1265 now on our weekly time frame. So very, very important. If this is to be a genuine move to the upside, you've got to see a break of this. Obviously, there's 126500, but you can also see the overall downtrend on this particular pair. Prices trading, swinging low on our weeklies, moving up just all above price and quite evenly spaced out. A lot of space between them, confirming a lot of negative sentiment. CTC, which is paramount, the whole template is telling us everything you see at the moment now on our weekly is very, very negative sentiment. So back to that daily again, 1265, very, very strong support and resistance. You can quite clearly see a lot of hesitation at this level. And you can see price heading up towards that, moving towards that area. But as I mentioned, it would need to close above this long term, or in the foreseeable future, quite soon as possible, to get above that, to give us that sentiment. This is genuine buying sentiment that's creeping into this, and then we could look at potential targets to the upside as we move higher. Those highs that we saw here in May down to these lows just before June, you can see 23.6 February tracement, a lot of hesitation at that level. But that all important 38.2, major support and resistance level at that 1265. Got to get above that, and then we can start tackling areas like this prior little support, or this consolidation area here at 1280, 1290, and then back up towards that all important major long-term support and resistance level at 1300. Psychological round number as well. Traders like to see those numbers. You can see a lot of hesitation through this period here, and before in December. But through most of January, February, March, April, May, right up till May when we had this breakout, a lot of support through there. So effectively, knee-jerk reaction on the news this morning on GMT, out of Euro, the meeting. However, we've got to see a break and close above that 1265 or the 1267, or particularly the 12700. Get a nice bullish candle above that, then we're definitely looking for long-term upside favoritism. Until then, we're still looking for downside. This prior little hesitation over here, this evening star formation, bullish up candle, indecision, bearish at a resistance level. You can quite clearly see that the trend, the intermediate trend, is still above price acting resistance, and you can see we have both the price support and resistance level as well as the trend line in play now at the 1265. So a lot of resistance. We've got to see that momentum moving higher than that. Has this this news announcement this morning, will it create that momentum? Will be seen. But until such time as price is trading above that, I'm still not willing to take this as a genuine buying signal for the time being. Moving on to sterling, you can see that news this morning also acting on sterling against the US dollar. We've had down candle yesterday from this consolidation range over here. For example, I mentioned we did need to see a break of that, and sure enough, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of support through there. But yesterday's candle dragging it lower, and then this morning the news coming out from the European meeting, Eurozone meeting, you can see that price is now engulfed yesterday's candle quite significantly. However, it's still a daily candle. We've got to wait for the close of it. A lot can happen in the week. Friday, so we could see a lot of positions being closed as well because of a lot of people taking shorts during the week. All that could play into the hands. However, you can quite clearly see that we have an engulfing candle at the moment now as it stands. Today's candle is engulfing yesterday's candle, and you should look at the CTC, still very much negative across the board. And I'll just mention that 15,300 down here is a major support and resistance level. Very strong one. Price has been, if I take it to a weekly, price has been finding support on this level since August, September of 2010. A bit of hesitation through here, March, April of 2010, but you can see a lot of support through here, guys, since then. So a nice bounce to the upside on our weekly. All our moving averages still above price acting resistance, and our most importantly, our CTC telling us that this sentiment is still negative. So, are we going to see further extensions to the upside? That remains to be seen. So, if we take the highs over here, for example, early May, to these ones just down here before the start of June, you can see that the 23.6 on the weekly has been breached. Price acting support there and moving higher towards the 38.2. However, in the past week, price not failing to find any sort of support above 38.2 and pulling back and retesting this 23.6. At the end of play this week, you can see price hugging the upside of this candle. This week's candle, however, still trading at the underside of the 38.2. Price needs to get above that as soon as possible to see any further extensions to the upside, with 50% here at 15,800, the first target with 15,900, and all importantly, that's 1600, a major support and resistance level, psychological support as well. Round number, we all like to deal in round numbers. Above us is 1600. That was our prime major support and resistance level. A lot of resistance and support. You can see consolidation at this area through most of this year, also going way back to 2010, 2009 in particular. A lot of hesitation, and most importantly, you notice the institution moving average on our weekly price just until recently broke above 1600, but we're still trading below it. Okay, so sentiment is still very much negative. It's got to get above that institution moving average on our weekly, monthly to be considered long-term bullish, and you can see quite clearly that we're still trading below it. It's important that we do see that. See that on the daily, institution still below above price, and that prior attempt recently, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, a full week of resistance over here, and prices reverted to the downside. So if this candle over here does close that higher, then you can see a psychological support here at 1550, which happens to be the 23.6, and ultimately, if that's genuine support, then we should be targeting 38.2, which is too close at the moment. Get above 38.2, then we should be targeting 15,800. Get above that, second target way up here at 61.8 will be the 1500, and the 78.6 will take us back towards the 1600 mark. So rather stay on the side. You can see the CTC is still very much red. This downtrend is still in play on our daily, so be very, very, very hesitant. I'd rather want to see a clear break above 15. The city airport here at 1565. Until then, I would stay on the side and get for that confirmation. US dollar Swiss franc, let's have a look. We have the opposite happening on the US dollar Swiss franc, bearish engulfing, and that bearish engulfing candle coming around. Funny enough, that major support and resistance level again, 960, a previous support and resistance level in the past, in particular January. You see a lot of resistance through there for a full week, and recently we've seen a retest of that and a break and a failed pullback and support recently here at early June. Price reverted to the downside at the underside of that, and then pretty much bottomed out at the, if I'm not mistaken, the 50%. So you can see the 23% retracement of this move here. We had a retracement, and that retracement is the fibs. You can see 23.6, the 38.2 here, and the 50% on our daily. Notice the CTC is still showing blue, guys. We've had a lot of indecision this past month, but that sentiment is still genuinely upside, and as long as it's trading above this range over here, or tackling this range, then ultimately long term, we should see price trying to build onto that. We take the low over here, for example, to this price swing over here. We had 4 consecutive days of support, 3 here, 940. It's a nice solid swing. You can see price last night on that news announcement at 3 a.m. GMT this morning. That price has broken to the downside and has tested it, and it's not trading slightly higher than that. So if price fails to actually break this 950, which happens to be the 38.2 in today's market or the next couple of days, then it's likely that we could see consolidation yet again. You can see a lot of consolidation through here, guys. It's failed to, even on the pullback, it's failed to really get away from this area, this consolidation area between. So it's important that we do see that. So the blue across the board, you're still telling me still looking for bullish sentiment. We have to see a really negative one to cancel out this price support over here at the 945 to even contemplate that we should be looking for overall negative sentiment for the foreseeable future. So bear that in mind. End of week, rather stand aside, give this day back to the market, and come back to fight another down Monday. Last pair of the day is the US dollar Japanese yen. Let's have a look at this pair. This particular one not really doing much. Very indecisive the past three days, and it looks like we're going to have another a fourth consecutive day of indecision. 2 parts of our overall 4-part strategy, i.e. everything's got to be blue in this case, but you can still see it's red across the board on the histogram on either side. So we have blue arrow, blue candles, but it's still red. So the sentiment overall is still looking negative for this pair. 8400, major support and resistance level in the past. Price failing to get above that, showing us all the signs of a reversal, indecision, spinning tops, followed by a doji, followed by a bearish engulfing, almost like a shooting star pattern, and then price pulling away from that and swinging low over the past couple of months, heading back towards that 80 mark, which happened to be price support and resistance breakout not too long ago, back in February of this year, and we're expecting a major breakout to see a pullback and then a continuation, and our support building through here at this level, and then a continuation in the breakout that we saw here in latter part of February. That failed to materialize. Price just traded sideways, consolidating around that 80 mark, price support and resistance, not really doing much until we had this bearish engulfing candle here, which actually took away all this indecision. See, very small trading range, a lot of spinning tops, a lot of wicks, and that bearish candle here really engulfing all of this indecision, telling us that sentiment was still negative, and we should be looking for further downside movement. Look at the CTC, gone red by that stage, and sure enough, we had a little break to the downside, pull back, stops above here, and then the continuation, the actual selling coming into play, moving us below the 61.8 towards the 78.6, where we saw the bounce to the upside from there. So 50, 61.8, and then the break of 61.8, and if I just put in my 78.6, which is a fib number that don't really apply that much, but you can see, bang, here on the 78, and the break to the upside again. Trading above an all-important institution moving average, guys. Since February, we've been trading below the institution moving average. If I move right out, you can see this green line over here, the institution moving average. Price is trading well below that, and you can see the sentiment overall for the US dollar Japanese yen very negative. But February you had the break above it, and since then price is spending more time above the institution. So overall, long term, sentiment is still looking positive for the pair, even though we had a major pullback. As long as we can maintain this above the institution moving average, including above 80, we can get above 80, then ultimately we can start seeing price building positive. You can see quite clearly here, since June we've seen upside movement, and in doing so we've seen a nice little bounce over here at mid-June, and you can see that price is moving sideways now, but you can see this little upside trend, this intermediate trend is looking favorable to upside. So as long as price is trading above that, then ultimately we should see a retest of 80 quite soon. Barring that, a nice bearish engulfing candle would lead to further selling and get below that institution above, as well as this area over here at 7900. Would see price moving towards that 78.6 mark, which is down here at 77.70. So here again, it's got to get above 80 to be positive long term, and until such time as that doing it, then I'm looking for bearish sentiment to be at far outways at the moment. You can see a lot of indecision. We had a bearish candle at the start of the week. As long as it's trading below 80, then we could see potential for further downside movement. It's still trading above the institution, so there's still a possibility of price moving higher, but it's got to be trading above 80 for me to long-term look at this as being a positive outlook. The CTC is still telling me negative, so until such time as trading above 80, I'm still looking for that negative sentiment for trading. So heads up, here's another one I'm not looking to trade at the moment now, because it's just not, there's not enough eggs on my basket. There's not enough confirmation for me, so I'm standing aside, and it's another long weekend for me. Thanks. That's it, guys. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. If you are going to be trading, end of week, so you can see a lot of people, a lot of pairs being consolidated today. People tying up their trades that they've been in all week, tight stops, etc. They're managing their trades today, maybe closing some of their positions, depending on their money management. 15 could be 15%, 25%, 75% of their positions. It'll vary depending on their trading strategies. However, the news that came out this morning will obviously be will now be taken in by the markets as everybody sits down, especially the European market now, and then leading into the US session. So we could still see price building on that as people take that as a favor. They'll decipher if it's positiveness going forward, but I'd rather give it back to the market today and get a clear decision from the market, if there is one today, where price is likely to go for the foreseeable week, the new week, next week, and then I'll tackle it then. But that's it for today. Hope you have a fantastic trading day, as I mentioned, and an even better weekend with family and friends, and I'll see you first thing on Monday morning. Until then, trade serenely.